You have betrayed the fan base.
Nobody wants, and people absolutely hate what Naughty Dog has done.
We're gonna pull a 180 at the climax. Yeah. No.
Nobody can tell me this ending makes sense.
Reviewed The Last of Us 2, and I heard the game is 25 hours long, and I've been waiting 6 years to see what happens to Joel.
I'd like to start this review off by answering one of the most controversial questions surrounding this game. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good was Joel's murder? Now, I've seen him shot or eaten by infected so many times, just murdered over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's something as a culture we love to see in video games. So I'll be grading on a couple different things. First, execution style. I'll say this is a pretty straightforward execution. A golf club murder keeps him alive long enough to really feel the pain, but then it's easy to switch up your grip, get serious, and go in for that kill shot when you really want to wrap it up. 8 out of 10. Fear. Joel's seen a lot of shit. This didn't really seem to faze him too much. In fact, he's so disconnected from it, he says one of the most badass lines in the game.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
So he didn't really seem that scared. Looks like all those muscles weren't really intimidating him too much. 2 out of 10. Skull crunch. This was Crunchwrap Supreme levels of crunch. 10 out of 10. Ellie PTSD. This moment gives everyone involved, including Ellie, horrible PTSD to the point where it's actually sad and made me feel sick about myself. 10 out of 10. That brings our total score to an 80%, so Joel's murder gets a solid 8 out of 10. That's a good murder. Except for this time when his murder's for real, apparently. This time, Joel's murder was just something we as a society were not ready to handle. Historians will remember this moment as the tipping point of 2020. It caused YouTubers and Twitter users to have a collective hive mind meltdown, and they've been angry circle jerking each other off about Joel's death ever since.
They're gone. They're nothing. They're broken or dead. All of them are broken or dead, and all the new characters that I like in this game are dead and gone and broken.
Alright, are some of you gamers ready to have a hard talk? Let's talk for real about this game. Why don't you take a seat? So, what are you doing here? I'm here to make fun of the game, bruh. I'm here to watch you make fun of the game because it fucking sucks. Are you a member of the Smash Bros community? Yes.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
I was initially just as confused as everyone else. How could they kill off Joel? I mean, he was on the cover, right? Oh, well, that should have been a dead giveaway that something bad was gonna happen early on, but still, I'm very traumatized by this experience. Who could kill our beloved Joel? The man strong enough to do this must have been, wait, what?
This is your god? A woman?
Let me back up a second here. This is going to be the first video game review on the channel, so let's take things a little more seriously. Originally, I was going to get my girlfriend to play this game with me. I figured it could be a fun thing for us to do together. When I said we should play The Last of Us 2, I think she heard we should watch This Is Us Season 2. That's a different show where they kill the dad. It was a simple mix-up. Anyway, I told her she had to play it or watch me play it.
I'm not playing that. I'm not watching you play that. Is that the game where you have to kill dogs? What kind of sick freak would want to play that game? What the hell is wrong with you?
You're right, baby. The themes of this game could appear to be possibly traumatic to some players. It explores the deepest disturbing parts of human nature at a time when the nation is already in a horrible crisis. I wonder how the gamers of our society will receive this piece of media.
I saw you already broke one of the controllers after playing this game for only 3 hours. You need a psychological evaluation.
All right, my lady, I shall traverse these apocalyptic streets on my own. I bid you farewell, and I shall see you on the other side. So here's some clips of me playing the game. After Joel's death, I had to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Could I continue on playing this franchise? Could I trust the creators to make things right after they wronged me? I came to the conclusion that no, I could not, and things would most likely just get worse from here, which is exactly why I bought this game. If you can't understand that, you're better off buying the same version of FIFA every year. I swear, man, some of these YouTubers are fake outrage for views. It's gotta be mentally exhausting. This game got so much hate that I mistakenly thought I was out a few months ago based on how much people hated it. Then it turned out it was just leaks. My only thought was, wow, I bet those don't do any kind of justice to the real story. But that doesn't matter, because if some guy on YouTube says it's time to be outraged, the internet mob grabs their pitchforks. Although internet mobs don't actually look like this, they look like this. And this. But when the game came out...
Massive failure of storytelling. Massive failure in storytelling. This is terrible storytelling. Horrific storytelling. Lack of storytelling. Massive failure of storytelling. Failure in storytelling. The biggest disasters in video game history. I'm not playing the game. I have watched all of the content.
This guy wants everyone to know that as a film student, he can assure us that the game is bad. This guy agrees with him. His credentials are he owns over 2,600 movies. This person said The Last of Us 2 was a horrid mess with pseudo-deep messaging and only a person with an inflated ego about themselves with thing is amazing, and characters were unlikable, boring, and just a complete awful representation. This person tweeted out, Joel and Ellie deserve better. We all deserved better. Fuck you, Neil, and then drew some sad fan art. When this tweet was sent out, this game had not even been released for 15 hours. It's a 25-hour long game. I used to be a janitor at a university, and sometimes I'd try to complete the math equations when everyone was gone. Now, I'm no Ivy League mathematician, but I'm pretty sure those numbers don't add up. I'm sure everyone else that's raging about this game and threatening the lives of the voice actors actually played the game, though. We can just give them all the benefit of the doubt. There's not just a few instances of this. I've been up day and night cleaning this word vomit up. So I did something that a lot of YouTubers and Twitter users told me not to do or wouldn't do themselves. I played the game. This isn't just a review about playing The Last of Us 2. This is a review about what it's like to play The Last of Us 2 when you live in a country that is falling apart. After hearing non-stop this game is just a woke revenge story, my expectations were so low going into this game. I thought the story that was happening was the guy that called Ellie a slur poisoned her sandwich. I thought the whole game was going to be about a poisoned sandwich.
Is that the plot of the game? That's the plot of the game? He poisoned the sandwiches and he's gonna kill that guy? And the whole game is about poisoned sandwiches. Look at this baby move. Holy crap. That looks like a real frickin' baby. Alright, that was cool. Make the baby do the trick again. I said make that baby do that trick again, lady. Let me see that baby. Give me that baby.
Have you heard of Wayfair cabinets?
I'd like to congratulate Naughty Dog on releasing a game where there was more outrage over the size of a woman's biceps than their mistreatment of their employees. Probably one of the most innovative and exciting features that Naughty Dog added was a dedicated jump button, something called jumping.
Look what I can do!
Another great thing about this game is Ellie is a lot more intelligent and ruthless. She's very clever, funny, smart. Of course, when Joel was captured, she was supposed to be doing patrol, so the only person who could have saved Joel in time was Ellie.
Who was on crack?
Just like the originals, the levels have a flow-like state to them. Anyone who says they got lost while playing this game is thinking too hard about it. The entrance to the next location isn't in some secret underground bunker. It's usually right in front of you. I have a notoriously horrible sense of direction. My thing is to ignore all logic and just follow my gut and keep bulldozing forward. That's how I drive on the highway, and that's how you're supposed to play this game. Just guess which way is forward and go that way, and you're probably going the right way. One of my more well-known videos, Top 7 Dumb Disney Star Wars Moments, I made that just because I was so upset about The Last Jedi. I thought it was a soulless piece of woke garbage, and rumor has it even George Lucas himself agrees with me on that. And now a lot of people are comparing this game to The Last Jedi.
The Last of Us Part 2 sounds like it should have been called The Last Jedi Part 2.
Literally, The Last Jedi all over again.
Understand why I titled this video The Last Jedi, a video game.
So, is this game a woke piece of trash that purposely alienates the fans with virtue signaling and an endlessly dumb plot that leads nowhere and makes the entire franchise feel dead?
Holy shit.
Nope.
Now, I'm gonna go on record and state these are just my opinions and you're free to have your own. I encourage you to leave them in the comments, and I'm not even gonna ask you to keep it civil. You can be as horrible and awful as you want to me and each other, and don't forget to smash that dislike button. The point I'm trying to make is I never claim to be an expert in anything.
I'm just a janitor.
But the thing about the janitors of the world is we get to give you the everyday man's opinion. We all know what the angry YouTubers are saying. You have your smart YouTubers who can break down this game in some nuanced way. That's not me. If you hear it's because you're looking for the dumb guy explanation.
I'm gonna give it to him.
So I figured the dumbest way I could break down this review was to explain it in Star Wars terms. I thought that was fitting because the people that act like they're too smart for Star Wars are the same people that think they're too smart for this game. So let's start with comparing Joel to Luke. In Star Wars, Luke is almost the murderer of his nephew, and the foundation of his character is backpedaled so far that the franchise starts to completely fall apart.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
This sequence of events gets more confusing the more Disney tries to explain it. This is the big event that sets everything into motion for the sequel, and the rationale behind every character's actions makes zero sense. In The Last of Us 2, Joel mistakes saving someone's life with being able to trust them. Saving a young girl's life is something that is familiar to Joel. As you progress through the game, it's explained through time jumps why Joel is acting passively compared to the first game. Joel's going through something called subtle character growth, or as gamers like to call it, bad fan fiction.
Seemed like some shitty Tumblr fan fiction.
It's fan fiction. It's bad fan fiction.
Joel's attempting to mend a broken relationship with Ellie after he tells her the truth about what happened in Salt Lake City. He's feeling very vulnerable and unneeded for the first time in a long time. Helping Abby gives Joel a sense of self-worth again, even if it's just for a moment. Joel's also finally become part of something that is bigger than himself. He is part of a larger community. The game's writers leave notes scattered throughout the chapter that indicates the community is attempting to regain their humanity.
Well, we can read.
Instead of immediately assuming other survivors have bad intentions, they are trying to form connections with other groups. Joel's closely connected to the leadership of Jackson, so at this moment, Joel is the ambassador for Jackson. He's not speaking for himself, he is speaking for the community. Things like this show Joel has found meaning in his life. He is no longer on edge and ready to kill anyone he crosses paths with. The writers built an entire community to visually show that Joel is not a savage anymore, and people look at this and just think,
Joel gets killed by a tranny with a golf club.
alright, that clip was out of context, but I couldn't resist. Here's the full clip.
Because I want y'all to know the comment that I got spoiled on this fucking asshole. He was like, Joel gets killed by a tranny with a golf club. And I was like, oh my god,
Let me see.
these internet trolls.
I think what it really comes down to is people are just upset they didn't get another huge climactic Joel story.
Like to go out and like defending Ellie in like a gunfight or something.
That's some revolutionary storytelling there, man. Please tell me more about how you can improve this game. I think it's pretty obvious we've seen that story before. We all saw Logan. We all know the inspiration for that movie seems heavily reliant on the Last of Us formula. The Last of Us was a trendsetter, not just in video games, but in movies. Do you honestly think they're just gonna play it safe for the next installment and do something like, I wanted Joel to shoot the bad guys? It's ironic because playing it safe would have probably shut everyone the hell up. This is why the Lion King remake did so well. It was absolute garbage compared to the original, but half of America just wants to see the same shit over and over. If the end of this game was Joel and Ellie driving down the highway in a gunfight to save Ellie's life one last time, these people would be saying it was a good ending. I'm not saying that game doesn't sound cool, I'm just saying Halo 3 came out 13 years ago. Everyone wants to act like they're too smart for movies like Star Wars, but then something thematically complex comes out that isn't from Christopher Nolan and everyone hates it. A lot of people are also mad because Joel didn't get a redemption arc. What kind of redemption are you guys looking for here? How do you redeem yourself after dooming humanity? What was he gonna do, write an apology letter? Synthesize the cure himself? He was a construction worker. He lived his life protecting his tribe and he never regretted it, and that's why people like him. People that post memes like this and think their favorite character has to be inherently good to be enjoyed are weirdos. Some YouTubers are claiming they're okay with Joel dying, but just not the manner he died in. This game is giving you a hard dose of the reality pill, which is we rarely get to say goodbye the way we wanted to. When that happens, how long are you gonna let it control you? Are you gonna be able to move on? Or are you gonna make 8 angry YouTube videos about it? Watching Joel die was painful, sudden, shocking, and violent. It fueled me with rage, and that was the whole point. The point of this game is to turn Abby into someone you despise.
I am not someone who is loved. I'm an idea.
And that idea was to get gamers to experience a radical concept called empathy. Wow, so brave of you guys. It's really weird hanging out with you after I just murdered you, but technically we found out that you could have hung back since you were pregnant, but you chose not to, so all this is kind of your fault. I don't feel bad for you at all. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The concept of what if the main guy is murdered and then you become the murderer sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan script pitch. I have a feeling someone was smoking a few too many bong rips and this idea popped in their head, and $100 million later, here we are. With that being said, all these ideas were executed way better than anyone is giving them credit for, and 1,000,000 times better than anything from these three. Watching Luke die was like watching my old high school friend Carl die from an overdose. To most of us, he was dead already. No one even mourned him, really. That goes for Carl and Luke. There was like one line where Rey's like, Luke's dead, and Leia's like, I know. And that was it. The Rise of Skywalker was even worse because he might as well have just been alive for this scene. It would make no difference in the story because he's doing the same shit the whole trilogy, which is just hanging out on an island and being a creep. Joel's death set the entire story into motion. The effects of his death are felt all the way up to the very last frame of the game. Didn't see any Star Wars fanatics this outraged over Luke's death, probably because people stopped caring. That's the real death of a character. Social issues in media. In Star Wars, they turned Finn into the janitor. Now, I'm not mad about that. Always feels good to have someone on the team that makes us look good. I'm just saying I think John Boyega is a little more talented than that. Also, the woke lady's plan is kept secret for no reason. Her plan doesn't even work or make any sense at all while touting the theme, always trust women. But everything about her leadership skills is raising alarms to any functional thinking person. And if you disagree with her or don't like her, it's framed in a way to suggest that you, the viewer, are a sexist. The movie is hyper aware of its own existence in a snobby ass way. Immersion in the Star Wars universe was damaged beyond repair at this moment. The message takes precedence over the story, and neither make any fucking sense. In The Last of Us 2, there is no woke lady trying to tell you that you are a sexist. If there is a woke character in this game, I missed it. And I never missed that shit because it stops the program dead. There are progressive themes and parts of this game that are woven into the narrative in a realistic way. That's not a bad thing. If you say this game is woke, you did not play this game, or you just don't know how to think for yourself, but I'm betting it's both. We need to get on the same page about what woke is. Just because there is a muscular girl in the game or a transgender person does not make it woke. Being woke is when you are a pretentious douchebag about social issues, but caring about social issues is actually a good thing.
Wow, this is so woke, guys. Stop virtue signaling me.
The social issues in this game are raw and real. Their struggles are not pretty, and it's painted as a long road ahead. But Lev ended up being one of my favorite characters in the series.
Did you hear what they called me? Yeah. Do you want to ask me about it? Do you want me to ask you about it? No. Okay.
And that is how you listen and respond to someone who's going through a difficult time. There's no lecture, there's no ham-fisted speech about morals in society, no prying or taking over the conversation or lecturing the audience. Lev just wanted Abby to recognize what he was going through, and that's all that was needed. Maybe in the next game they could include the struggles of what it's like to be a Naughty Dog employee. I would be remiss if I failed to mention this is the most accessible video game ever created for gamers with disabilities.
Time. You might have sort of seen the journey that I have made in Blind Gamer, in this amazing journey that I've been on for the past 5 years. So when I say that this is a huge deal personally for me and a huge career highlight, to be able to be brought into this beloved of a studio to work on the accessibility of this game, this is a huge deal for me.
Naughty Dog isn't just acting like they care about minorities. They have single-handedly paved the path that all video game developers in the industry should be looking at if they want to make their video game more accessible to disabled video game players.
And I hope that we can come back to this conversation 5-10 years from now and be able to say that this was just the beginning.
No, Ellie, don't go. Please stay. You have a good thing going. Baby Jessie needs you.
What are you doing?
Ellie's trying to leave to go kill Abby, but she needs to stay with her family. She's making the wrong choice.
I thought you played this game to kill people.
I don't know why I play this game anymore. A huge complaint I see about the Star Wars sequels is that Rey is a Mary Sue.
Nothing that makes Rey interesting or unique. She's simply a Mary Sue.
Why Rey stands as a lifeless, blatant Mary Sue.
This idea that Rey is a Mary Sue.
Can you really call Rey a Mary Sue?
Petition to change Mary Sue to Rey Skywalker.
Okay, so I posted that the character of Rey in Star Wars The Force Awakens is a Mary Sue.
Warn you past that, alright? So Rey is a Mary Sue.
Hey baby.
What?
Do you agree that Rey was written like a Mary Sue in Star Wars?
I didn't watch the last Star Wars. I don't know who Mary Sue is.
No, Mary Sue is a term. It's a term we give to the girl in Star Wars because she doesn't go through enough hardships and she's just like really strong with no explanation. We call her Mary Sue because she doesn't make enough mistakes.
Please leave.
Okay. So, does Ellie make mistakes in this? Yes, she does. But people aren't really complaining about Ellie, are they? Their gripe is with Abby. So, does Abby make mistakes? Does she go through hardships? They beat the fucking shit out of this girl. I could not believe the amount of pain and suffering and violence these women go through and inflict on others, and it just keeps going. It somehow gets worse and worse and worse all the way up to the final showdown, which is so dark. I felt sick while playing this part. You're sick, Naughty Dog. You're a twisted company. They just put out a piece of media that made me feel physically ill. I have no idea why this game isn't being celebrated on every level. If you played this entire game and you came out of it still wanting to kill Abby, you didn't play this game played you. You have outed yourself as a possible incel, and the FBI is on their way. The gameplay was amazing, immersive, and all in service of the story being told. The score and audio mixing was next level. This is a game that must be played alone in the dark at 3 AM with headphones on for the true gamer experience. This game was revolutionary in interactive media. Make no mistake, this game will stand the test of time. If you follow my Twitter, you know this game set me on an emotional roller coaster. That's what Naughty Dog set out to do. After Joel's death, I believed the outrage YouTubers that this game was just a woke piece of garbage. It's so easy to get caught up in the YouTube, Twitter, social media bubble, but most people don't use either. When I blocked out all the outside noise and let the characters' actions speak instead, I realized this game was unlike anything that has ever been made before, and a game will probably never be made like this again.
Why do I have the feeling I'm gonna end up liking this game just to be a contrarian?
I'm sure that's just a coincidence. In fact, I don't even know what I'm talking about. My frontal lobe stopped developing after drinking too much Mountain Dew. That's the part of the brain that makes you feel empathy. So, 0 out of 10, game fucking sucked. If you'd like to be part of the senior staff janitor squad, please consider joining my Patreon. The end game here is to build a stronger, more secure internet. So I'd like to thank my right-hand janitors this month. Thank you, Patio Furniture, Jake, Jacob, Lalomi, Kyle, Starside Vanguard, Elliot, Nicholas, Caleb, Dakota, Nikolai. See you next time, Janitor Squad.